Bitcoin is tanking down, down, down. So today we have an emergency update. What most people don't realize is that Bitcoin moves in a particular rhythm and it has a particular flow. And if we can understand that flow, then we can see when it's likely that we're going to see a bottom. Is it near? What is the rhythm cycle? And should we be expecting a bottom and a reversal over the next few weeks? So that's what we're going to focus in today's content. So like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. If you don't know me by now, my name is Jiggy. I'm the award-winning author of The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. Been featured in the best-selling book, High Probability Trading Strategies, back in 2008, where I only used to focus on currencies, but now exclusive on crypto. So let's dive straight in. All right, Bitcoin. Right, let's just see it do it like this first. With Bitcoin, what we can see clearly is, as you know, we pegged this top back in November. We've had this big move to the downside, this correction, and there's another big move to the downside, and this part has just fallen, like it's just jumped off a cliff. But does Bitcoin have a rhythm and a cycle? So I'm going to show you something today that I don't even think I've spoken about today, but it's a very, very powerful tool to see something called rhythm cycles. Most markets have a rhythm, low to lows and high to lows. We're going to basically see if we can project a zone down here that Bitcoin has been exhibiting over the last year or so. So what we're going to do, we're going to first identify major lows. So we got this low over here. We can see that very, very clearly. I'm just going to use this line down here as a reference. We've got this other low down here. We've got this low over here. This is going to make perfect sense to you in just a couple of minutes. So we're looking at low to lows. What's the major lows that Bitcoin has made? This one is a very obvious one over here. So it's a bit subjective, but you can see where I'm getting at, and you'll see the power of this in just a short while. So we're just measuring these lows. Can we first identify these major lows? And is there a rhythm? Is there a rhythm? And most markets tend to have rhythms. And if we can spot those rhythms, what we'll more often than not see is the rhythm will continue into the future. So now, what we're going to do, I'm going to do it this way, just so it's very visual. We're going to measure how long did this low to this low take. Right? It took that long. Right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take this arrow and we're going to project it forward into the future from this line that I've drawn over here, this one over here. So now we go, this is the typical minimum low to low rhythm cycle from here to here. But now let's just do it for the rest of them as well, so we get a zone. And you'll see what I'm getting at over here. So I'm going to measure this low to this low. We're going to project it forward from over here. So you can see now we've got a bit of a zone, right? The minimum to this current zone over here. But we've got more zones. So we're just going to get the minimum and the maximum low to low cycles. Again, this one's a bit wonky. Let me just straighten it up. Boom. And we're going to do this. All right. And then we're going to do a few more. Just these last two. And you see what I'm getting at here. So what we're looking at is a massive clue that's logical, non-emotional. Because one of the problems with Bitcoin, as you may have realized with yourself, is emotional, right? Because it impacts the rest of the market, which skews our thinking. And then there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. There's negative news, and then all of a sudden, everyone's panicking. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at this and go, okay, the lowest time low to low is this one over here. You can see this one over here. And the maximum is over here, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to draw this pink box from the minimum to the maximum, right? So we're not focused on price. We're not focused on price. We're just focused on time, right? What is a typical low to low cycle? And now you might be thinking, let me just get now rid of all these arrows. They have served their purpose. Thank you very much, arrows. All right, you might be thinking, well, that's a big range again. That's like, that says from the beginning of May, so 2nd of May, all the way to the end of July. Well, that's a very broad time zone. So can we narrow it down now with some more information? Well, just the way we've done these low to low cycles, this low to 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 this low, and now we're projecting in advance this rhythm zone, this low to low rhythm zone. Now we're going to do the same for high to lows. Yes, high to lows. And we're going to begin from over here. Can we just identify these major highs? And I think that would be the last one over here, these major highs. Swing highs, we're referring to them as. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start with this over here. And we're just going to identify. So here's the first one. Here's the second one. So we're not so much worried about high to highs now. We're focused on high to lows. You go, Chiquille, what are you going on about? Is this anything to do with Elliott wave and Fibonacci? Well, not really, in the sense that we're now just focused on rhythm, as if you're a dancer and you're trying to catch the beat. You're trying to catch the flow. And if we can catch the flow, we can see if the beat continues as it has been, we can see, and let's start with the end one first, how long from this high to this low, how long did that take? Well, again, we're just doing it as visuals, right? We're just doing it as arrows. We're just going to draw it from here. Boom. So I'm going to draw this arrow from over here, right? And now I'm going to do the same for the rest of them, right? From this high to this low. Now this one's very short, so I'm going to have a bit of difficulty carrying this arrow over. Let me see if it lets me. Yeah, it does. Last time it didn't. Fabulous. Perfect. That was this one. Now we're going to go for this one, and then one more after this. And then last but not least is this one over here. We could do a few more, but you can see this one is pretty much similar to the first one. So now we've got this other zone, right? So we've now measured this high to this low. So we're looking for a rhythm. This high to this low, this high to this low, and lastly, this major high from November to this low back in January. Now we are now saying we're going to project that rhythm in advance. And we're going to draw a box. We're going to go, this was the minimum. And this was here, the maximum. I'm going to draw it like this so it's just much more visual. There we go. I'm going to change the color. Let's just change the color to, let's go with this color here, green. Okay, so now we've got this crossover zone. I'm going to get rid of all these arrows. They've served their purpose. Thank you very much, arrows. Yep, that's fine. Let's get you out of the picture now. All right, okay. So now what we're going to do, there's two things we're going to do. We're just going to first confirm, what have we done over here? What does this represent? Well, this here represents a rhythm zone from the highs to the lows and the lows to the lows, but there's a crossover. This crossover section is the key date. Key date. This tells us with high probability that the low, the next major low, the next major swing low, like these lows over here, before we see some impetus to the upside, is between the 2nd of May, which we've passed already, and the typical maximum on this rhythm zone is June 12th, right? June 12th. So this is the maximum zone. And now I'm going to do one last thing to finish up today. So today's a different kind of video. And by the way, if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because what we're trying to do here is increasing the probabilities of seeing the future of what's likely to occur. Now, we know we cannot guarantee what's going to happen, but we can see what's likely to happen with high probability. So I'm just going to finish up with something called a Fibonacci external retracement. Now we're looking at time over here. This is time, right? Forget, this is not representing price. We can do price now. This is time. This is horizontal, right? Horizontal. We're looking at horizontal. It's going, okay, between this date and this date, we're likely to see the next major low. We know whether it's just a correction to the upside, we should see a swing high to the upside. But now we're going to do a price. We're looking at this correction. We're just going to do, we don't need to get too anal about Elliott waves right now, But what we can do is take this low to this high. And most corrections, when we have a continuation, which we've now got, continuation to the downside, will finish at a maximum of 1.618 and 1.272. Right, so now we've got a nice price and time zone. Now, I like to get the boxes so we just make it fit the price zone like this. Again, we're keeping it, trying to keep it simple. We don't need to overanalyze. We just want to go, okay, now we have this very high probability zone on time between the 2nd of May and 12th of June. That's still quite broad in the grand scheme of things. We can do some other things to narrow it down. But it says, okay, in the next 4 weeks, as in today is like the 10th of May, next 4 weeks, by the 11th of June, we should see a major low being complete in this price zone. Typical price zone is 28,000 to 23,000. So, we're not quite finished there yet. Probably got maybe a bit more downward movement. We're also going to just add in one more bit of information. So again, we're aiming to be logical, mechanical, non-emotional, because, okay, we know it's Bitcoin and it has an impact on the rest of the market. But here we're trying to go, let's forget that it's Bitcoin for a second, and let's just be business individuals. We're business guys and girls, and we're going, right, what's the logical information in front of us? So I'm just going to jump into a weekly chart in the top left-hand corner. I've got a momentum indicator as the 13 stochastics RSI. It's still pointing down, so 1 or 2 weeks. I'm just going to drop down to a faster indicator. I think this one here. Yeah, we can see this here. This is the slightly different setting that catches the lows faster. So we can be relatively confident over the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, we should be getting a major low for Bitcoin, right? Momentum is suggesting that. We're not getting overly anal with the pattern position, but we do know, if you watch my previous analysis on Bitcoin, that we've got this ABC structure. And what we've said is when you see an ABC structure, you should normally get a continuation of the former trend. So this was a downward trend, ABC structure, continuation to the downward trend. Now we've got this price zone and a time zone. It's a 5-week time zone, right? 2nd of May to the 12th of June, right thereabouts. So we're in this range. We could argue that this is looking like a 5-wave sequence to the downside, and we're looking like the extreme of a 5-wave sequence. But I would now also want to look at, I'm just going to pull up a couple of indicators here. I just want to have a quick gander at. I just want to see one that catches the highs and the lows relatively well without all the skewness. I'm doing this. Yeah, this one catches, I'm just having a quick look. Yeah, it's not the best, but it catches the major highs and the lows, this particular one. So we can see that the indicator, this is like a slow indicator. This is a 34, 21, 13, 13. That's the setting. You can see that this is coming towards a low. So there's a lot of things indicating, as scary as it may seem, as crazy as it may seem, that we've got this massive move to the downside, and then we've got another move to the downside. But it looks like we are now coming towards the zone in terms of time from this date to this date based on the rhythm of what we just saw. Yeah, we're just catching the beat, doing a bit of salsa, a bit of breakdancing. We're catching the beat in this zone. And we have this price zone as well, this external retracement. This is the typical maximum and a typical minimum, which gives us a nice, clear, logical, matching up with momentum. So we've got momentum, we've got an ABC correction with pattern, some basic pattern, we're not getting overly anal about it. We got some time, this was some advanced time analysis we did, low to lows and high to lows rhythm cycle. And then we've got price, an external retracement where most ABC corrections, the continuation after an ABC correction continues down to. So over the next 2 to 4 weeks, maybe sooner, we're probably going to see a reversal. Now, doesn't mean it's going to happen, but we want to anticipate. right? Because we're in that typical zone. Again, I just want to summarize because this was new information. Most of you haven't seen me do this before. We're just looking at lows to low to low to low to low to low to the next low, right? And then we're looking at, let me do it this way, high to low, high to low, high to low, high to low, high to low. Now we got this range. That's our rhythm zone. We got the price, and we got ABC pattern, correction, continuation. We can also add some other things as well. We've got these major support as well. This is a major support, and it has a psychological effect on the price as well. So that's also in that zone as well. You can see that we've tagged it. So we break it, but we're in this zone of pattern, price, and time and momentum. So we are likely to see some type of reaction to whether it's just a correction like this, whether it's a more impulsive move like this, whether it's going to be an impulsive move like this former move over here. We don't know that yet. But we're probably going to get a minimum of something like this, or like this, or like this, for some type of medium term at least high. It should be something like this. And if that unfolds, then we can do some more accurate analysis at that point to see what does this look like. Is it just a correction before another swing low to the downside, or is it going to be a reversal and a continuation to a new bull trend for a continuation of the major trend? Now, what sometimes is annoying with, I'm going to say amateurs, right? Amateurs that are not trained in the psychology of how the markets tend to flow and how we do analysis, is we're doing probabilities. So it's not really about being right or wrong. It's about reading the information and being on the side of the higher edge where you become the casino. So if this is the former trend, this is the former trend, do we have a continuation of the former trend and we end up going to all-time new highs? But again, we're just looking at right now, today, it's clear, obviously, we were anticipating this. We're anticipating, would have seen it, anticipating that this low to be exceeded. I was anticipating, just being transparent, some type of correction to the upside before a continuation, but we really didn't get it. It just felt like it jumped off a cliff. But it still looks this, mainly because, again, I'm just going to reiterate, logical, mechanical, top left-hand corner, weekly chart, the momentum, look at it. You can see it's on the lower end, which would suggest that we're going to see some type of, over the coming 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, some type of upward movement. And then in the top right-hand corner, again, we got this. I'm just going to loop myself. I'm just going to repeat the same thing. Time, price, zone, resistance zone over here that we're going to probably see at least some type of move to the upside in reaction, at least to 50% of this movement to the downside over the coming 2, 3 weeks or so. So there you have it. It was simple. It was different today. So tell me what you think. If you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Today was all about just getting objective, really, really objective and non-emotional, even with a very emotional subject called Bitcoin and Bitcoin's price action. Because we also know that it really impacts the rest of the market. When Bitcoin's going down, almost directly down, geez, it panics everything. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt and everything is almost like panic selling. However, we're probably, likely, high probability going to get some type of trend reversal over the coming 2 to 4 weeks. Maybe 1 to 4 weeks, 1 to 4 weeks, because we're in that rhythm zone. 2nd of May, which we passed already, to the 12th of June. And if we can coincide that with pattern and momentum and price, then we've got high probability. So let's finish on a quote today. Let's finish on a quote. I'm going to read the same one. I think I read this yesterday, but I'm going to read it again. Because it's all, repetition is the mother of all skill and purposeful practice. So we want to practice deliberately. And this is so key to give you the edge so you can win, because it's all about increasing your financial health so you can lift the burden of money, because sometimes that can be people's biggest stress, and then enjoy this great gift called life. Okay, Henry Ford. It has been my observation that most people get ahead during the time that others waste. It's a scary time, I know. I got 400 students plus in my community. We got a private community. People that bought my course, you get invited to my private Telegram. We do weekend workshops, and I can see the fear. I can feel it, and it's natural natural, especially if your portfolio is tanking, right? It's tanking. However, this is the time to hold your cool, to go, right, do we believe in the space? Is there a reason for people to adopt crypto, adopt Bitcoin? Is there going to be more institutional investors coming on board? We're $1 trillion market, and even if you just zoom out, we can see the trend, and the trend is just that it's very extreme with the human emotion. So over the next 2 to 4 weeks, it's likely, not guaranteed, likely we're going to see a low, and then we're going to see a major move to the upside to make another major high. What that high is going to be, whether it's a correction or if it's a continuation to a new bull trend, that we don't know yet. But hold your cool right now. Bigger picture, calm, relaxed, and let's just be objective as much as we can in this emotional subject. I know fear and greed, emotions of optimism and pessimism. It's almost like optimism, euphoria to depression. And I mean depression because it's tough. I know it's tough to take drawdowns. However, the fat lady is not singing right now. The game is not over right now. We might get more movement to the downside, but we're probably going to get a major low and then some movement to the upside and some optimism coming back into the market. So let's keep a very close eye on this over the coming days and weeks. And as more information unfolds, I'll keep you updated with just objective analysis. No agenda other than what is the price action telling us? What's the psychology of the buying and selling that's occurring right in front of us? And can we look at that in an objective manner? And that's the tough part, because if we've got an invested interest in Bitcoin going up, like we know if Bitcoin goes up, everything tends to go up. So we want that to happen. And that we have to be careful of something called cognitive dissonance, which is where the unconscious will find the information of what you want to see as opposed to what actually is. So we want to see what is as opposed to what we think is. So these low to low cycles, these price zones, the momentum, it gets it objective and it gets it. It's simplicity, but it's sophisticated and it gives us an edge. So if you like today's content, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Let's win this game of crypto tennis by practicing, learning, being patient. And again, remember the long game, not the short game. Long game means 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, right? That's the game. That's the game plan. Not 1 week, 2 days, 1 month. No, let's broaden our horizon and win this game together, because there's enough to go around, and it's about being patient and learning and knowing the markets do move in these rhythm and cycles and trends. All right, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and I'll see you soon.